Yo, I tried out a calligraphy generator AI inside ChatGPT, and I was kind of shooketh at first. So let's talk about it. I'm getting this question so often recently because it is December 2025 and AI is getting exponentially, a lot of people say, frighteningly better, it seems like by the day. So will calligraphy even be a viable business anymore? Will AI just replace calligraphers entirely? People are asking me that question. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Creative Business Real Talk. I'm Sheena, corporate lawyer turned full-time calligrapher and teacher, and I tell you what it really takes to grow a thriving creative business. And as usual, I have a three-part answer to this. I am no AI expert. I have just been in the calligraphy business for 10 years and I've seen a lot of stuff go down and I've done some research and I've talked to some people. So, three parts. First, this is not a new fear. I'm going to tell you how this kind of scarcity fear mindset has come up a lot in the kind of history of calligraphy and why AI may or may not be different now. Second, certainty is a myth, unfortunately, but our brains really, really want it. So let's break down that. And third, what you need to focus on instead of like an imagined, oh my God, scary future, what that means for your creativity and your investment in calligraphy right now. So let's get to part one. This is not a new fear. Cries of, oh my God, calligraphy is dead. There's not enough demand. The market is saturated. I've been hearing that for all 10 years that I have been in this game, and it goes back way further than that. Um, just a brief, history to my knowledge. Okay, I'm not a historian either, but the printing press. When that first came out, there were cries of, oh my gosh, hand lettering is dead. Because people used to literally like sit there and be trained to print, to reproduce books. That was the only way it could be done. That job like disappeared in a sense, right? Or it just kind of shifted. Graphic design more recently and word processors. Suddenly, things really could be kind of lettering could be designed and not all by hand anymore. Then Procreate came along and there was digital tablets and digital lettering. Then really good calligraphy fonts. Then those silhouette machines where you can literally plug in a ballpoint pen and it just writes a note like a person wrote it and it can even approximate handwriting and it can do kind of handwriting fonts really well. That's really recent. All of these have been kind of scares in the past of, oh my gosh, calligraphy is dead. And you know what? I'm sure in some ways, some calligraphers no longer had all of the demand that was there. Things had to shift. The industry had to evolve. Calligraphers themselves had to kind of move with the times. But we're still talking about it now, right? So calligraphy never disappeared as an industry. And if you're thinking, but AI feels different, you know, it probably is different, right? People are talking about it as a potentially humanity threatening, certainly world changing. It's changing things before our very eyes. Maybe it is different. But you know what? I actually was looking up AI and calligraphy to do some research, and I found a Flourish forum post, kind of like chat room from 2017 of people worried about if AI was going to take over calligraphy. So even AI is kind of not a new concern. It's just very, very fresh right now. So that all is kind of a brief part one of just putting this into a context of it's not new. Maybe it's a little bit bigger and different, but let's get into part two. Even if AI is a kind of different technological beast, it is of a different level than the printing press or Procreate, right? It all comes down to our brains wanting certainty. Our brains love certainty. We want a guaranteed path. We want a step by step. We want a blueprint. We want to make sure that we will be successful before we even try something. Otherwise, we're scared to try it at all. And unfortunately, We have illusions of certainty all over the place, but real certainty is impossible, right? Nothing is certain except death and taxes. I don't know how old that phrase is, but we kind of know this and we've heard it, and yet our brains keep reaching for it. And let me just give you a quick example. Even a sure thing like what, 5, 10 years ago, when everyone told all the college students, oh my God, become a software engineer, become a computer software coder and engineer, guaranteed you'll graduate and make six figures and you'll be set for life. And guess what? Right now, there's kind of too many software engineers, and a lot of them are having trouble finding work. Partly because of AI, but partly because just too many people heard that message and went for it. And guess what? Things aren't as certain as that, and stuff shifted. So that's just a really small example. I have an example from my own life of, become a lawyer and you'll have guaranteed success, and then living through the 2008 huge recession where a lot of my fellow graduates from NYU, top 5 law school, got laid off from their jobs. Certainty is just, it's just never guaranteed, right? But to go a little bit further and really tell you, for calligraphy specifically, calligraphy has been evolving as a service, man. Even over, in the recent history, it has had to evolve. And I know this because I got an email from a man who worked as a professional calligrapher in Australia for 45 years. He found me online somehow. He's like 74 years old now, kind of retired, doing a little bit of calligraphy still. He joined my calligraphy challenge. He was an amazing participant. And then he emailed me just telling me about a little bit about his career, about how he started teaching kind of the very first calligraphy classes that people had ever heard of in 1979, and how in the beginning, he was really his bread and butter, making a living off of wedding stationery and really doing all the calligraphy around envelopes, place cards, stuff for weddings and events, menus weekly for restaurants. And they would go and get those photocopied and printed because that's how they did menus back then. And how, as he has worked in his career, he has had to kind of evolve with the customer demands. So now it's more custom quotes and customizing gifts, right? Working for maybe photo framers to personalize the photo mats, doing certificates and writing names of big donors for high profile events. What he said in his email, and I totally agree with this, even though I'm only 10 years in and my calligraphy business looks really different from his calligraphy business, but he said, flexibility has been essential. And I couldn't agree more because, in the very recent years, I would say over the past 5, 6 years, I've watched in the calligraphy industry, live event calligraphy has really taken off as a just lucrative and in demand way that calligraphers can add value in this day and age where the people want to see human craftsmanship with their own eyes. So I have seen people like Marie, Made in September, Cat Lauren Calligraphy, really turn their calligraphy not just, I'm here and I'm going to engrave for 2 hours, but turn their businesses into high-end luxury elevated, like, I will be your brand activation consultant, pay me really good money and I will tell you how to create an exquisite guest experience that will get people talking about your brand. And they charge top dollar because that is a level of value that is above just merely showing up and doing calligraphy. But that has had to evolve because that is what our culture is wanting right now, right? So that's part two. Just throw certainty out the window. I know it's so hard, but every industry has to evolve with the times. Now, part three. This may be a little bit relevant for you right now. If you are someone who is thinking about, okay, I really kind of am drawn to calligraphy. I would love to make money off of it. I'm thinking about, ooh, what could I potentially make it a career? Could I do like a part-time thing? But you're looking way far ahead into the future, and your brain, because it wants certainty, is trying to get ways for you to stop and reassess and not do it and not take the chance. And part three is about stop letting the imagined, like, long-term future thing that's going to happen, stop letting that get in the way of what you want to do now. So I want to bring you back, right? Bring your brain back from like, oh my God, what's going to happen 5 years from now? Am I going to invest now and then I won't be able to have the life of my dreams in 10 years? Stop thinking that far ahead and just come back to the now. I'm going to give you a really concrete example. Self-serving because hey, it's my show, but my pro calligrapher bundle, which my business Crooked Calligraphy, that's our signature offer because it's $997, but it teaches you calligraphy basics, how to add your own style, and how to start your business. It's basically everything you need to start selling your calligraphy. $997. Instead of asking the huge, scary question of will AI replace calligraphers, ask yourself, if I were to invest in this, okay, or any other calligraphy learning or whatever you want to, learn, ask yourself, is it possible for me to make back my investment? Just set yourself that much smaller, much more doable goal and go from there. Okay. This is a form of perfectionism where your brain is wanting to have the perfect career arc and the perfect, you make one investment and then you're just good to go forevermore. It doesn't work like that, right? But you can bring yourself back and say, okay, how do I make back this $1,000 investment over the next year or maybe 2 years, depending on how fast you want to go? You can teach a few calligraphy workshops. You can get one live calligraphy engraving or other hot foiling, wood burning, whatever is snazzy in your area, a couple of jobs, make back your investment. You can do one huge custom calligraphy project like a family tree. I just talked to a student of mine who recently got paid like $800 for one family tree. It is so possible to do that. And it brings you back into like this present reality instead of way far flung into the future. Because you know how I told you that Flourish forum chat string about will AI replace calligraphers from 2017? Imagine if that had stopped me in 2017. If I had seen that and gone, well, it's too late. AI already replacing calligraphers. That's not a perfect path. It's not guaranteed. I better choose something else. Imagine what I would have missed out on. Millions of dollars, 10 years of doing something creative and fulfilling and challenging and has given me so much freedom, so much growth, so much satisfaction. I would have missed out on all of that. Imagine if that had stopped me. So, like, don't let it stop you now from just doing something now that piques your curiosity, that makes you kind of excited. Just think a few steps ahead into the future. You don't have to have your entire future mapped out because you're asking yourself, right? And your brain is really good at doing this. What if all the worst stuff happens? What if AI replaces calligraphers and no one wants them anymore and I waste my money, right? But imagine what if AI makes the everything digital just so untrustworthy that everyone comes flocking back to actual in-person, handmade, handcrafted human connection again. A lot of people are saying that might happen. I kind of believe it too. I want to believe it. Um, what if we all come back into our local communities? Because really, we don't know what's real anymore except what's right in front of us. That might make calligraphy pretty cool, also, right? In the end of the day, AI cannot replicate the humanness of your hand. And that's kind of what you're betting on with calligraphy. Not to mention, you're not just investing in calligraphy. When you go through the journey of learning how to do something with your hands and then talk about yourself as an artist and then market your calligraphy services and add value to people, that is all just skill building, transferable to any other area of your life, right? And any other business you want to go to, and any other job you want to do, frankly. So that's just a way to kind of bring you back in from the scary, scary, uncertain future into what you have some control of over now, right? And that's how you follow your curiosity, what you're interested in, what you set your mind to, and like the small goals that you set for yourself that seem way, way more doable, even if AI is looming. Because, you know, really, at the end of the day, like, I don't know what's going to happen with AI. Let me tell you what happened with that calligraphy AI generator that I tried out. So I just Googled like calligraphy AI generator. I found one on ChatGPT. I again, I'm not an AI expert, so maybe there's way better ones. I haven't played with Claude or Bard or any of these other, more visually focused AIs. But this particular one on ChatGPT, I put in, a prompt like write Sheena and Ed's wedding. It's me and my husband. We had our wedding a few years ago, but just as an example. And it asked me, hey, what kind of calligraphy style are you looking for? And I wanted it to do modern pointed pen, the kind that I do. And you know what? Honestly, at first it spit out a result, and I was like, you know what? That's pretty good. That looks, that's pretty good calligraphy. It looks like a good font. But the more I prompted it, hey, can you make it look a little bit more stylized? Can you add more bounce? Can you make it look a little bit more like pointed pen calligraphy? I started to hit the limits. It kind of was spitting out calligraphy that looked pretty similar to the one before it. And then I thought of like a final test, which is really intriguing to me. I asked it, can you make this in the style of Sheena of Crooked Calligraphy? And it responded back, sure, I can do that. Sheena is known for her bold brush strokes. It got my style. That's not right, by the way. And then it thought for a while, and then it spit out something that looked completely not like my calligraphy. Me, Sheena of Crooked Calligraphy, even though it was trying. I don't know where it got the reference images, or there's lots of my calligraphy online, but it was nowhere close. So that's what I found now, December 2025. AI seems to be getting better day by day. Who knows? It might be so much better next week. But everything that I have told you in this episode remains true. The key point being that we don't know what's going to happen with AI, but it's kind of no use projecting way forward into the future and letting that stop you now. No one ever said that becoming a calligrapher was a certain path to financial comfort and success and well-being, right? A career in the arts, in creativity, a little bit alternative, it was always going to be a bit of a risk. So maybe now that risk has changed a little bit, but maybe it just means that calligraphy will have to evolve, and calligraphers in the future will have to find different ways to add value given the culture that we're in. But please don't let fear stop you from what is piquing your curiosity right now, and bring yourself back into the question of, okay, if I make an investment now, is it possible for me to make back that money and learn some stuff and have fun doing it and pick up a lifelong skill on the way? The answer to that is definitely you can do that. All right. That's my answer. As of December 2025, we shall see what happens with AI in the future, if we are all here, right? To see it. Again, nothing is certain. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want more calligraphy and creative business insights, and musings. I will see you next time.